Today I am headed to Eastern Washington to put a solar panel back on the roof of my car. For those of you who don't know, I used to have a solar panel on the roof of my car, had it on there for about 6 months. I was really happy with the performance, but I ended up taking it off because I wasn't really going on road trips for a while there. But I was sent some parts and now it's time to put it back on the roof of my car because I will be going on more adventures again. So let's load up the car and I'll show you what I got.
I was sent a new set of crossbars to try out, so I picked up a set of solar panel mounts and loaded everything in my car for a trip to sunny Eastern Washington. November is usually the cloudiest and wettest month for Western Washington, and this weekend was no different. The Cascade Mountains block most of the weather from reaching the eastern side of the state, so I headed over Snoqualmie Pass where the rain stopped and the clouds eventually gave way to the dry, sunny, irrigated desert in central Washington. While this area would be a good place to test a solar panel installation, I wanted to continue further east to an area called the Palouse in southeast Washington. The rolling hills in this part of the state are covered in endless wheat fields and has the Snake River winding through the countryside. The campsite I was headed for was about 10 miles drive from the nearest paved road and along the banks of the Snake River.
Well, that last about 10 miles of road was a lot of fun. Reminds me of when I used to go out with my grandfather when I was a kid, and he'd take us out on all these back roads out through the Palouse. But anyways, I made it to the campground. It is super quiet out here. There's no one else around. I think I saw some cars out on the other side of the Snake River there, but aside from that, this is a perfect place to do some filming and get that solar panel installed. One thing I didn't really take into account is that this campground is quite a ways east of where I live, and I've almost covered an entire time zone to get here. So that means that the sun set a lot earlier than I expected. But that's okay. That just means that sunrise is going to happen. I think it's about 45 minutes earlier than it is back home. So I can get an early start on installing my solar panel tomorrow. One thing that I haven't mentioned about this campground is that you can see it has a picnic table. So most of the campgrounds that I've been at lately are free and don't have picnic tables. This one is free, out in the middle of nowhere, and does have a picnic table. This is actually a really well-maintained property, so I'm really thankful for that. I can actually use my stove at a normal height.
I would like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Western Rise. Western Rise makes quality apparel for the modern one-bag traveler so they can carry less and experience more. I have owned their Classic Evolution pants for over a year and absolutely love them. The Classic Evolution pants are men's casual travel pants that dresses up enough to get through any meeting, yet is rugged enough for any outdoor activity. They effortlessly replace jeans, hiking pants, and dress pants, allowing you to carry fewer clothes and travel lightly. The Classic Evolution pants are lightweight, durable, and pack well. It's the perfect travel pants to have in your bag. If you are interested in trying out the Evolution pants or any of their other apparel, go to westernrise.com/ColinAdventures15 and use the discount code ColinAdventures15. You will get 15% off your order. Links are below. Well, I have on the menu tonight some butternut squash and bean, and I added some spinach tacos. More meals from Hungry Root. It's a little breezy out here today, so we'll see how the stove does with all this wind. The windshield seems to work pretty well. Well, the pot seems to be boiling along very nicely in there. So while that's cooking, I went over and set up my car. So that looks like it's all set up. I have all my window coverings up except for my back window, which you may or may not be able to see.
And the reason for that is because I'm not really all that concerned about privacy here. I don't think anyone else is going to show up. The only vehicle that I've seen drive past at all is a semi-truck, which is actually currently driving past. And I'm really far out on back roads here, so I don't think anyone's coming out here. Well, I had to take apart the tortilla to make it all fit into this bowl, but I ended up with a basically tortilla soup kind of thing. I guess it's more of a stew, I don't know. And there's my food for the evening. But I think that's probably going to be it for me this evening. Once I get this food, I'm just going to go to bed and see if I can get an early start tomorrow. Hopefully I'll wake up before sunrise. If I don't, that's fine. I'll just sleep until whenever I wake up. It was a really quiet night last night out here on the north banks of the Snake River. Today looks like it's going to be a perfect day for installing a solar panel. The clouds cleared out overnight, and today it's just a few small puffy clouds and lots of sunshine, which is perfect for testing out a solar panel. So part of the reason why I decided to reinstall solar on my car was because a company sent me out a set of crossbars that make it a lot easier to mount solar panels. These are just general crossbars, and they are a little bit better than the old ones that I had. In fact, they're a lot better for mounting stuff. So let me show you the difference. So this is the old crossbar that I had been using, and it's about 10 years old now. I used to use it to haul around my sea kayak, mostly for repairs, and it did the job really well. I just needed something that I could clamp my kayak holder to, and in this case, it worked fine. You can see this has a T-channel in it. At first glance, these new crossbars look a lot like my old ones, but there are some major and really important differences. So first off, the old ones just aren't built as well. They were the cheapest ones I could find on Amazon at the time, and this clamp here is definitely very loose, and it doesn't feel very secure. You can also see there's a bit of a size difference. This is just significantly smaller than the newer one, and while this old one does have a T-channel in it, it's not the standard size T-channel that a lot of mounts for various rooftop components mount to. This is just some oddball size, and basically nothing works in it. You would have to kind of customize your own mounts if you want to actually use the T-channel in this. On the new pair, this is a standard size T-channel mount, and so you can mount stuff very easily to it. This has a removable plastic piece that covers up the T-channel, so all you have to do is take that out, it slides out, and you can slide in whatever mount you need. Also, the clamps that hold the crossbar onto the roof, they feel much sturdier than these old ones. These just feel cheap. These feel like they might actually securely hold something. But otherwise, the construction and the overall concept is very similar. One last major difference is that these new crossbars are significantly longer than my old ones. You can see on that end, it's maybe 4 or 5 inches, something like that. Hoping that this doesn't cause too many problems, my old ones do stick out past the side of the roof of the car, so the new ones will probably stick out even further. So we'll see how far those crossbars actually stick out and whether or not they might need to be trimmed down. These are just regular metal extrusions, so if I could find a saw and some place to use it, I should be able to trim it down no problem if I really need to. But we'll try it at the standard length and see how it fits. So in theory, these crossbars come with everything that you need to install, and I'm pretty sure this is all you need. A set of keys to unlock the mounts on the crossbars, and I'll show you how that works in a second. And this enormous Allen wrench to tighten down the clamps. Also, these are end caps that go on the crossbars, and I'll show you how those work in a second as well. But first, let's get those crossbars onto the roof of my car. Okay, so I have the crossbars roughly in place. I'm probably going to move that back one forward just a little bit, but I left everything loose so that I can move it around while I'm actually installing the solar panel. So the next step here, in my case, I'm using some T-channel mounts, so I need to take these plastic pieces out to expose the T-channel. So without the T-channel, this is what it looks like. I'm going to leave the plastic pieces like this off for now, but the kit does come with both these, which you can cut down, and these small pieces here, which you can use to fill in gaps. So I don't have my tools or a proper knife for cutting this at the moment, but so I don't have proper tools or a knife to cut these at the moment, so I'm just going to leave them off for now and we'll see how it goes. I'm a little concerned leaving them out will cause a little bit of whistling, but we'll see. We'll see what it's like without them, and then we'll install them later if needed. So to go with the crossbars, I picked up these Bougie RV, I don't know exactly how you're supposed to say that, but I have used a different set of their mounts before. The set I used before were big clamps that go down over the top of the crossbar and clamp on like that. The only problem I had with them is that it means the solar panel sticks up way too high off the top of the crossbar, and it looks a little bit silly. I wanted something a little bit sleeker looking, a little bit more flush. And so I decided to go with these guys again because the mounts were well made. They just weren't exactly what I was looking for. So these are their T-channel mounts. And so these use the standard T-channel that most crossbars, except for this old one, use. So this will just slide into the crossbars and bolt down. This kit also comes with everything you need. So it has a couple of wrenches, a couple of screws that I'm not really sure what those are for, but everything should go together with just these couple of wrenches and sliding them into the T-channel. One thing I really like about these T-channel solar panel mounts is that they have rubber cushions between the mount and both the solar panel and the crossbar, so nothing's going to rattle and everything is going to be protected from wear long term, so there shouldn't be any wear marks on either the solar panel or my crossbars. If I remember right, trying to put these onto the crossbars first will make things a little bit too tricky to get lined up. So I'm just going to install these now really quick and we'll see how that works. Okay, so there we have it. All 4 mounting points are mounted up and it's ready to go on the roof. So these mounting brackets can be mounted so they face in like this, or they can be switched around so they face out. I'm doing it this direction because I want to still save a little bit of real estate on that side of my roof rack for other accessories, kind of like I had before. The tricky part is tightening down those bolts that are on the inside there, because they are a little ways away from that side of the car. So it's going to be a little bit tricky, but I think we can do it. So I've actually changed my mind about cutting down these T-channel strips. I found that the kitchen knife works just fine. This stuff cuts like butter. It is just soft rubber anyways. So I'm going to cut a couple pieces of soft rubber and I'm going to stick those in between the mounts on the solar panel. Before I tighten everything down, I want to put these end caps on the Before I tighten these down, I want to put the end caps on the crossbars just to make sure everything fits perfectly. And there is the complete, at least mechanical, installation. So I think I like this a lot better than what I had before. It has a much cleaner look. I think these crossbars are significantly better. I was worried about them being too wide, but they don't actually seem like they're that much wider once they're on the car. So I don't know how that works, but I really like the way this looks. The last thing to do is to lock these crossbars onto the roof of my car. There's a little cover that goes over the port where you wrench down these clamps. So that's all this lock does. They're only on one side on this particular model, but that's okay. Once they're locked down, they're a little bit more difficult to steal. I know that's probably going to be more of a problem in my neighborhood than a lot of people have, but having everything secured down and difficult to steal is always a good thing. The only thing left is now to clean up the wiring. I brought some zip ties with me, and I'm just going to run it down into the trunk like I did before. And there we have it. I have the wiring zip tied right now. I'm probably going to come back and redo parts of it. This works okay, but I ran out of these longer zip ties, so I really need another one right here to hold up the wiring so it's not dangling down and just hitting the roof like that. But otherwise, everything runs down. It runs down the back of the trunk lid like that, inside the gas strut, and it goes down into the car. Once it goes down on the inside of the gas strut, it runs down along the inside of this channel here. I don't want to go cut down through the weather stripping there because that will create a leak. But if I run it down here to the bottom of the trunk lid, then it can just go right into the cabin of the car and plug into my power station. So let's see if this works. I have the plug here, and let's just plug it in. See if we're generating power. Takes a second for it to register. Alright, so we're picking up 24 watts, 30 watts. That's pretty good. The sun's behind a bit of a cloud at the moment, and it's also kind of late in the fall, so I'm not expecting huge amounts of power out of my solar panel this time of year, but 30 watts is actually pretty good, and it's enough that if it's running continuously, I can keep my fridge on. My fridge doesn't run a ton this time of year anyways, because it's already kind of cold outside, so this should work out perfectly. Well, I think it's time to break for lunch. I got everything in the installation done pretty quickly. If I wasn't filming, it probably would have taken me maybe half hour, 45 minutes, something like that, but I've also done this type of installation before. If I was new at it might take me an hour or so, which is about what it took me the first time I did it. But I still think using existing crossbars or side rails on the roof of your car is really the best way to mount a solar panel. You don't have to worry about screwing anything or welding anything into the roof of your car, so there's no chance for leaks. It's all using existing parts that just kind of bolt together. It might be a little bit more expensive this way, at least in the short term, but I think long term it makes for a much better mounting situation. So if you're interested in mounting a solar panel to the roof of your own vehicle, I will put links to all the stuff in the description below. So I'm really liking this campsite. I have everything packed up and ready to go though. One of the big things with this campsite, and probably any of the campsites in this area, is that they are extremely buggy. There are just bugs everywhere. There are a lot of bees, and considering this is the middle of November, it's not particularly warm out. I can imagine in the summer this area probably is just swarming. Having said that, this time of year I did have to eat in my car because the bugs were just attacking me too much, but it's still a really lovely campsite, and it's a great place to walk around and explore. It's super quiet, and I would definitely recommend camping out on the Snake River. All of these campsites along the Snake River, I believe they're all run by the Army Corps of Engineers, and they're all free, they're all in really good shape, and most of them don't get that many visitors. So this is a really great area to go explore. If I want to get home in time for supper, I really need to leave the area right about now. There is a really famous waterfall that I want to stop by on the way home. We'll see if I can get there. It is very nearby, but trying to navigate the back roads to it could take a little while, so we'll see what happens. I don't think I've ever seen wild elk running around out here before. Super cool. So that's about all there is to see at Palouse Falls. There used to be a trail where you could hike down to the bottom of the falls, but I don't think that's around anymore. It's not showing up on the maps and everything looks like it's all fenced off. Having said that, it's still probably one of the most popular waterfalls in eastern Washington. But anyways, I need to head back to western Washington so I can get ready for work tomorrow. So I think this will probably be about the end of the video.